2 weeks ago, a content creator by the name of Awarebruh made a video on Jtoh saying, "I am done with Jtoh." And it just so happens that the owner of Jtoh, Juke, responded to the video. And I'm going to be checking it out today. I'm going to see what Juke said and what that means for Jtoh. Because apparently they said some pretty important stuff. And I'm all here for it. So let's check it out. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Awarebruh's video titled "I'm Done with Jtoh," definitely go watch that. It's a great video. So yeah, let's actually do what Juke had this long ass paragraph that they wrote, and it was so big it couldn't even fit on my screen. I had to separate it into 2 different screenshots. Like, that's crazy. Holy yap! But pretty much, Juke said, I'll read it out what the first thing they said. Said, "I do actually agree with a lot of the stuff in this video, but there's a few things that I should mention." And by the way, these few things are like 20 bullet points. So like, calm down! I'm just gonna summarize and paraphrase what Juke wrote under the comment section of that video. And so you don't have to, pretty much. I'm gonna hit all the main points and hopefully discuss everything that needs to be discussed. So in the first point, Juke pretty much says that she completely agrees that the game is not beginner friendly at all. And Purgatorio is supposed to try to help this issue. And so what's going to happen is that when you're in Purgatorio, everything else is going to be locked for newcomers. So pretty much, like, you don't get ahead of yourself and try to jump to coals straight away. And she also mentioned that there's a possibility that even after you complete Purgatorio, that there's a certain amount of towers that'll be blocked from your access, so you don't just rush straight to coals after you do the things in Purgatorio. But she also says that this might not happen because she thinks that the actual issue of that will be solved with Purgatorio. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but that's what I'm getting at. So in the second point, Juke pretty much agrees with Awarebruh and says that they definitely want to make significant changes to earlier towers to remove the idea that it's just a bunch of random traps, and kind of disassociate the term rage game with Jtoh. Because in the modern day, that's really not what Jtoh is about. But in my opinion, I really like old Jtoh. I think it's just so fun. But I know not everybody agrees with me. I think if you remove the old towers or make updates to them, like, you're kind of getting rid of history. But maybe that's just me being sentimental. I really have no clue. I'm sure a lot of people would like this change, though. I just don't know if I'm part of that group. Juke also touches on the fact here that they stopped doing full-scale events because it kind of just pulled time away from the development of the real game. To me, this isn't a big issue at all. I never really liked events, so I don't care at all, really. But if you cared about events, I'm sorry, because they're not going away, but they're just being toned down a lot, which to me is fine. Juke also says that they're kind of iffy on the idea of, giving reasons on why they demoted or banned somebody. Because in the past, they've kind of just, like, kept it a secret, and they weren't very transparent in the community about why things happened. They didn't even go out of the way to mention that Punky Joe was a freaking groomer. So that's kind of flawed with the community, but Juke is pretty much saying that it would kind of just end up being bad if they talked about reasons why, because then the entire community would go after them and harass them, which would kind of just make the situation worse. And to me, I don't know, I guess that kind of makes sense, but I think being transparent with your community is more important, because as fans and as enjoyers of the game, we kind of want to know what's going on, you know? But that's just me, I guess. Juke says in this next point that they only sort of agree on banning people about their political opinions, but the point about banning them on their political opinions. So pretty much they don't really like to do that, but they'll really only do it when they, like, cross the line and just, like, harassing people because they're part of a specific marginalized community, which to me, I I guess that also makes sense. I think Juke is saying all the right things, but I feel like maybe the staff team should also let Roblox handle it, like what Awarebruh says in his video, and stop being so involved. But I don't know. I can see both sides on this one. I can really see both sides of the argument. I think that you shouldn't attack people for who they are. That's what I think. But, you know, if Monato doesn't want to agree with me, I don't know, bro. Let Monato do what Monato wants. In the next point, Juke just elaborates on what she said in the last one, saying that they weren't gonna ban, I don't know how to say the exact username, but they're not gonna ban him for conservative opinions. The only time they'll ban him is if they went out and attacked somebody for their identity or sexuality, which, okay, do what you want, I guess. In the next point, Juke realizes that the curators kind of suck. And she says that she's concerned for the standards that the curators have set, and that she doesn't like how these sloppy towers are being favored over actually creative towers. And thank you, Juke, because all the towers in the new game, bro, they all feel the same. It's the same recipe, bro. I'm telling you. It's just the same thing. And I think that's why I'm not the biggest fan of the newer rings, because it all just feels like there's a formula on how to make a Jtoh tower that gets into the game, and everybody's just exploiting it. So, I mean, whatever. But I'm very glad that Juke has brought this up. Juke also says that, even though this wasn't mentioned in the actual video, she says that she wants to get rid of the CCO term, the custom client object term, because she feels like it restricts people from being their most creative. Even if some of the client objects can be buggy, she says that without being able to use CCOs for just normal builders, you're restricting yourself on what you can do with the kit. And even like without using CCOs, the kit still has the potential to be buggy. So yeah, I think that means in the future, you don't have to be a verified builder to use custom client objects. And to me, that's a big W. But we'll see what Juke actually ends up acting on in what she said in this paragraph. She also says that apparently Monato has done worse things than what Awarebruh is making it out to be, and that he was apparently harassing her in a Ring 1 server literally earlier that day, I think it says, which I don't buy it, bro. Unban Monato. Literally unban him. Please, Jtoh. Unban him!
I shitted in my pants. I am for real. Never meant to make my booty shit. I apologize, I shit my pants. I shitted in my pants. I am for real. Never meant to make my booty shit. I apologize, I shit my pants.